His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad is the fifth Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Elected to this lifelong position on the 22nd of April 2003, he serves as the worldwide spiritual and administrative head of an international religious organization with membership exceeding tens of millions spread across over 206 countries. His Holiness is the world's leading Muslim figure promoting peace and interreligious harmony. During an exclusive interview with His Holiness in England, we discussed a number of matters, including his work in fostering unity globally.
You see, our major work is to spread the message of Islam. And Islam means peace, love, and harmony. The Arabic word Islam means this. So, if you have this connotation of Islam in your mind, then definitely you would do everything, every deed and every action of yours will be to create peace, love and harmony in the world. And for that, the foremost objective of our mission is to spread the message of Islam, to make the people realize their duty towards their Creator, and secondly, to make the people realize their duties they owe to their fellow beings. For this purpose, we are spreading the true message of Islam with regards to the religious teachings are concerned. Apart from that, when you are spreading, you are spreading the message with the intention to make the people realize their duty towards each other, you have to show the example of it. For that, in some poor countries, we are doing humanitarian work by opening hospitals, schools, colleges, and other facilities like providing potable water and also some other sort of things. So this is the humanitarian work we are doing. And if you do that humanitarian work, it itself creates the love, peace and harmony in the society. People would know you. Apart from that, if you see the scenario of the present day world, how the things are developing, where they are going, you can see the world is now very much close to their disaster, because man is not discharging their duty towards their other fellow man. For that, for some years, I have been warning the world that we should realize this fact, that if we did not stop it here, if we continued like this, there would be a disaster and havoc in the world. And nations will fight with nations. People will fight with peoples. And because of the modern day developed armament and arsenal, there might be a bigger havoc than it had happened, and bigger disaster that had happened in the past in the Second World War. Because now, during the Second World War, only United States had an atomic bomb. Now, there are quite a number of countries, even in the Third World, who have nuclear arsenal. And in the Third World Muslim countries, if it is in the hands of clerics, so-called religious leaders, they are very much trigger happy. They may use it, and it can bring a great disaster in the world. So this is why we have been warning, telling that big governments and the other governments and the people that they should get sense and realize that if they did not stop here, you are going to ruin the whole world. And if the nuclear weapons were used, you are not going to just destroy yourself, ruin yourself. You are going to, leaving a legacy of crippled children for the generations to come. It is attributed to Islam because, unfortunately, most of the extremist groups are the followers, or they claim to be the follower of Islam, right? And it is not the majority. Actually, they are doing it in the name of religion, but they have their own vested interests. And all started after Arab Spring, after economic crisis of 2008, and present day economic crisis. And even we should say that this is the chain of the 2008 economic crisis. It is still continuing. So it has not yet stopped. You see, there were frustrated people who joined those groups who had their vested interests. In the Muslim countries, the governments, the leaders did not discharge their duties they owe to their people. And that there was a reaction because of that. And because of that reaction, there were so many groups emerged. Some rebels and some other groups, they used the name of Islam, that is ISIS or Daesh or Taliban or so on and so forth. So actually, they are not doing it for the sake of Islam, because recent research, even Westerns are doing it, and they have interviewed so many Daesh people. They say 90% of them do not know what is the teaching of Islam and Quran. And even they say those who know 10%, they say they themselves will not do suicide attack because they know it is not permissible in Islam. But they will never stop any other Muslim or any person of their party or their group to do suicidal attack. So it means they are not sincere. They are sincere only to their own vested interests. If you do justice, you have to know the teaching of Islam. What we have been doing it. You see, even I said to the press in Europe, in Holland rather, to be precise, that if a small group of people go to join these terrorist groups, extremist groups, you give a big coverage to it. But when hundreds and thousands of people join to the Ahmadiyya community for peace and love and harmony, you never give any coverage. Why? So if you are giving one side of the picture, you give the other side of the picture as well. Right? So it's the media we should play the role that can analyze the teachings and then the action of the people, and how and what is the number of those who are doing all these atrocities. So if you see that, if you compare that, you would say it is not the Islam, but a group within Islam, a small group, just a nominal group, I should rather say. What is the number of Daesh at present? It is at 30,000, right? And you have seen our conference here. Yeah. The people gathered here were almost 40,000. Even this number was more than that of the total number of Daesh. Why didn't you give this picture? Why media is silent with regards to this? So if they play a role, they just give the true picture of Islam and tell the teaching is this, they are doing this thing. So people, even now, Western analysts and politicians and other sensible people have started saying that whatever they people are doing, do not attribute it to the teaching of Islam, because Islam does not say it. Even some of them, realistic people, have even quoted that what Christianity was doing in the past, just recent past, was the same, and we never do it. Even yesterday there was an attack by a German, and the media said that it was not a terrorist attack, it was a personal attack by a German, and he is not a sensible person. If a German does it, American does it, they are not sensible. If a Muslim person does it on his own, then he is a terrorist. And he is doing it because of the teaching of Islam. No. So you should do justice. This is the role of the media, which they should play. We only follow the teaching of Quran. And Quran categorically says there is no apostasy commandment or law in the written in the Quran. Quran says, with regards to this, that if people leave Islam because of the fear of the people, let them go. Right?
Yeah.
Allah will give you better and more sincere and strong people in their faith. Had there been a apostasy law or a punishment with regards to this in Islam, people would not have left Islam because of the fear of the people who are not Muslims. Rather, it will be other way around. So so it is categorically written. There is no second.
So could you
if they say it, they are not following the true teaching of Islam.
Yeah.
They are misconstruing the teaching of Islam. And second question yours says that they think that there is no prophet after the Prophet Muhammad, and he is the seal of the Prophet. We believe he is the seal of the Prophet. Without this belief, no person can be a Muslim. If we claim ourselves Muslim, we have to believe that the Holy Prophet of Islam was the seal of Prophet. Right? But the interpretation is different. We believe that the seal means that now no new prophet with a new law of Sharia can come after him. No new law-bearing book can come, and the Holy Quran is the final law-bearing book. Whoever will come will be from among the followers of the Holy Prophet of Islam.
Yeah.
Right? They say no, seal means now they have put the barrier here. Now nobody can cross that barrier.
Yeah.
And now no person even with the claim of prophethood, or even if you explain the verse of the Quran, that means no pious man, no righteous man, no person who is close to Allah with regards to his spiritual level can come.
Yeah.
So it is ridiculous. We believe a person can come, but from among the followers of the Holy Prophet, and that is the true meaning of seal. Not that you are going to stop the attributes of Allah. How can you? Allah was having, if you believe in Allah, the omnipotent Allah, He was having all the rights in the past before the advent of the Holy Prophet of Islam, and now after his coming He has says, okay, Allah, because of the coming of the Holy Prophet of Islam, the attributes of Allah has been ceased to work again, or some of them have ceased to work. It is ridiculous.
Some 20 years ago, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community set up a charity organization called Humanity First in order to promote its message of love for all, hatred for none.
The Ahmadiyya Muslim community was working on relief projects in low-income countries, largely in Africa and Asia, since the 1920s, 1930s. So they came into Sierra Leone in 1934, they came into Ghana soon afterwards, and they were building clinics and schools and other facilities. But there was a recognition that as a Muslim community, people were thinking that only Muslims should go there, whereas our facilities have always been open to everybody. Our motto is love for all, hatred for none. And equally, we didn't just want Ahmadi Muslims involved in these projects. We wanted people from all walks of life, from all faiths to get involved. So 20 years ago, we set up a charity, an independent charity called Humanity First. Most of the funding comes from ordinary people. A lot of them are from the Ahmadiyya community, but increasingly from other communities, Hindu communities, Christian communities. In these countries, we're getting a lot of funds. Most of our people are volunteers, and it's from that ethos that the Ahmadiyya community had, where from there, just like Hindus and Christians and Jews, people of faith want to help other people.
Humanity First has 5 banner programs where they focus on healthcare, water infrastructure, agriculture, and education and training. One of their flagship programs is the Water for Life project, where they deploy water systems for village communities.
This is a typical water pump that we install, and the system in villages is that they're used to cranking the handle and then water comes out. To actually install this, first of all, we have to have a big drilling rig. Well, actually, first of all, we do a geological survey with the local authorities, and we work out where is the water, how far do you have to drill, and which is salty water and which is drinkable water. Because if you drill too far, sometimes you get heavily salty water and you have to have a desalination plant, or you can't use it for irrigation, you can't use it for drinking. So you have to drill the right depth. And we have a big drilling rig with a diamond head cutter on it. Once we've dug the hole, we then put in the pipes, and we put in a pump at the bottom. And then once the pipe is up at this level, we create a base. We put normally a concrete pillar there, and then install this on top, and we check that the whole mechanism is working, and we use a compressor to clean the pipes, make sure it's all working. And then the first time when we test it, you tend to have all the villagers like this crowded around thinking, what's going to happen? And when the water comes out, you watch their faces. It's like gold has appeared.
And what about the maintenance of the wells? Is that taken care of by Humanity First?
So with all of our projects, we're trying to focus on sustainable. And sustainable means that if you do it to them, if it breaks, they'll wait for another NGO to come and fix it. So we're using the local teams, like these ones that we've deployed in Pakistan, this backdrop. We use the local labour to dig it, and we train them on the pumps, and we give them some resources so that if there's simple repairs, they can do that themselves. If it's more complex, they'll call us.
Enhancing vocational skills in deprived communities is another major objective of the NGO.
Education is at the core. If you look at deprived communities, like in the provinces in Guyana, then the children, if they lose hope, they can be distracted into bad things, or they lose hope and they just sink into poverty, sink into drugs, sink into alcohol. We want to give them hope and inspiration. And our Knowledge for Life program is a combination of education and training. So we run something like 43 vocational training centres for IT, for sewing, for hairdressing. I ain't got much hair left, so it doesn't help me, but hairdressing, car maintenance, carpentry, electrical, a whole range of skills that we train people. Even languages are becoming more and more important. With schools, especially in Africa and some of the deprived areas of Asia, the schools tend to be quite bare. So what we're showing here is a typical dusty, bare classroom, and it's not an environment where kids will be excited. They come there because they have to, and the teachers tend to be, oh, today I can teach you something. We want to inspire them. So for £100 or $150 US, we can paint a classroom, We can deploy our Humanity First posters. We have a team of teachers who made our own posters. You can see them in large scale there, some of them. We paint a feature wall with the children. So we do sketches and then we give the children the paint and say, you go and paint it. And you can see some examples here. I took my kids 2 months ago to Gambia and we got the local kids. Many of them were seeing paint for the first time in their lives. And we got them to paint the scene. It's not perfect. They're not Picasso, but they're now saying, this is my classroom, I painted it.
Another program is Humanity First Disaster Relief Program, where Guyana had benefited.
If you think back to 10 years ago when Suriname and Guyana suffered catastrophic flooding and we were working with the military to get relief supplies, and especially past mountainous region to the remote communities, often if your house has been washed away, or in an earthquake like we had in Ecuador where houses totally collapsed, you've got people living outside, or if they've built rough shelters with tarpaulin, or like we had in Haiti still people are living in temporary accommodation in parts in the outer regions of Port-au-Prince, then those people have lost everything. So we have a disaster relief kit we call a water survival box. If I just quickly show you, this is this is a water survival box, and you can see a water filter that they use. This can last 9 months, and they can take any water from the river and they can put it in there and filter it, and it's clean and safe to drink. Similarly, when we send that, this is a bucket with a filter. We fill that bucket with other stuff. So if you lost your home, you haven't got any pots and pans, you haven't got any cutlery, you haven't got any rope, scissors, tools. So we send them this kit, and this allows them to restart their life until their home is rebuilt. We distributed 500 of these in Nepal last year after the terrible earthquake. We've deployed this in countries all around the world. And this is a joint project with the Rotary Club in Bath, near Bristol, here in England.
So you said you've also done this in Guyana. Do you have statistics and how many you distributed in Guyana and what areas?
In Guyana, we helped something like 5,000 or 6,000 people at the time. And then in the rehabilitation phase, we decided to focus on vocational training. And we're looking to restart that again in the country.
Humanity First's mission is to multiply leaders, not followers, and its motto is to provide unconditional support to the underprivileged section of the society with dignity.
आए हैं मेहमान मसीह पाक के